Not many mothers would consider leaving their baby near a huge creature like a horse due to the fear of potential harm. However, in an unexpected turn of events, when this mother left her daughter in a stable, she could never have anticipated the actions the horse would take. The day began like any other for Laura, a resident of Nottingham, United Kingdom. She had recently started her maternity leave from her career after giving birth to a lovely baby girl named Hannah, a decision made by her and her husband. As time flew by, Hannah grew rapidly, reaching the age of 8 months in the blink of an eye. Realizing that her maternity leave would conclude shortly, Laura was determined to cherish every moment with her daughter. She also yearned to share one of her lifelong passions with Hannah, horses. During Laura's childhood, her family had the privilege of owning 3 horses. These majestic animals became an integral part of her upbringing, igniting a profound affection for them. Her days were spent in the stables or riding through the fields as she developed a deep bond with these creatures. Engaging in a range of activities, Laura didn't hesitate to ride, braid the manes and tails, and partake in the essential responsibilities of caring for her animal companions. This encompassed tasks like mucking out stalls, feeding, and grooming. The horses held a significant place in Laura's heart and life. As the years advanced, circumstances led Laura to move away from her childhood home and the cherished horses. This transition was necessary for her to establish a home of her own. Sadly, where her new house was located meant that she had no space at all to own her own horses. The cost of renting a field and stable stall was simply too high for Laura to consider, meaning that she wasn't able to get a horse again. Even though the young woman wasn't able to have her own horses, that didn't stop her from wanting to introduce her daughter to one of the most important aspects of her life. Luckily, Laura had a friend who owned her own stables. With this in mind, the young mom asked her friend if she could introduce her baby to the horses to see if she would get along with the animals. Laura's friend happily agreed, as it also meant that she would get to spend time with her friend and her baby. With the plan all sorted, Laura decided that sooner rather than later would be better to see the horses, as she would be returning to work soon and wouldn't have as much time to take Hannah to the stables. The next day, Laura was awakened as usual to Hannah crying for her morning feed. After breakfast was done, the woman quickly got herself and her daughter ready to go to her friend's stable. Laura was eager to see just how her daughter would react to the animals. There, the small family already owned a little kitten who Hannah seemed to love. So the young mom had hoped that her daughter would get along with the horses as well. Unfortunately, just as Laura was getting ready to leave to go to her friend's stable, Hannah decided to have a bit of a tantrum. The baby, like lots of young babies, had gotten upset and simply wouldn't calm down. Hoping that a ride in the car might calm the young girl down or even put her to sleep for a little bit, Laura strapped her baby into her car seat and began to make her way to the stables. Laura figured that even if Hannah was asleep the entire time at the stables and didn't get to see the horses, it would be okay, as she herself would still get to spend time with the animals she loved. Sadly, Laura's plan didn't work. Hannah cried the entire time that she was in the car. Every now and then, the baby would seemingly start to calm down before she started crying once again. Laura eventually arrived at her friend's stable and was quite flustered. She didn't know how to get her daughter to calm down. The young mom had checked Hannah's diaper to see if she needed a change, but she was clean. She also tried to feed her again. However, the baby wasn't hungry and simply spat out the milk offered to her. Truly, Laura was at a loss as to how to calm her baby down. The young mom took Hannah out of the car while the baby was still in her car seat and made her way over to her friend's stable. Upon seeing her friend, Laura greeted her happily. However, Hannah still wasn't pleased. The baby kept crying even when both her mom and her mom's friend gave her attention and tried to soothe her discomfort. Both women were very confused about what was wrong with the baby, as she simply wouldn't stop crying. Deciding to try giving her baby another bottle of milk to see if it would calm her down, Laura set the car seat carrier on the floor next to a stable stall. Inside the stall was a horse called Cody. However, Stacy wasn't worried about leaving her daughter next to the horse, as he couldn't get to her. All the horse could do was stick his head over the side of the stall to get a closer look at the crying baby. Little did Laura know that the horse would end up doing something incredible. As the young mom was working on heating the milk up to the right temperature for her baby, she suddenly noticed that everything had gotten very quiet. Hannah was no longer crying. In fact, Laura actually heard her young daughter starting to giggle. Confused about what could have caused such a drastic change in her daughter's behavior so quickly, Laura decided to check on her daughter to see what had happened. However, when she went back into the stables, she was shocked at what she saw. Cody, with his head leaning right over the side of his stable door, was gently rocking Hannah in her car seat. The horse gently nudged his nose against the handle of the car seat, making it rock slightly back and forth. The baby, who was still sitting in the seat, happily giggled at the motion and smiled up at the horse above her. Seeing that the trick worked with the giggling youngster, Cody went on to do it again, nudging Hannah's seat 3 times to keep it rocking. The baby stared in wonder at the horse, smiling the entire time. Seeing the unique interaction, Laura quickly got her phone out and started to record it. She then posted the video online, where it quickly went viral. I was nearly in tears when I saw her reaction. I was a bit overwhelmed by it. Laura said in an interview, "When we walked in, Hannah was really upset and screaming and generally not enjoying herself. But when she saw Cody, she stopped crying and just stared at him, so we brought her over to sit near his stable. It was such a magical moment. I've grown up around horses. I used to have 3 and I wanted the same for her." Laura then went on to say that, "I was a bit worried when she wasn't enjoying it at first, but as soon as she sat down with Cody, it was like someone had flicked a switch. She kept pointing and looking at him, and she was loving it when he started rocking the car seat. I don't know how Cody had that much influence on her, but she slept well that night." Observing her daughter's evident affinity for horses, Laura continued to watch as the baby and the horse interacted, captivated by the enchanting scene unfolding before her eyes. After a few more moments, Laura approached Hannah and scooped her up, the baby's smile lighting up the scene. With gentle curiosity, Hannah extended her tiny hand to touch the horse's nose before the trio, Hannah, her mom, and her mom's friend, headed back to the house. From then on, Laura made it a priority to frequent the stables with Hannah, ensuring the young girl could spend time with her friend Cody. As Hannah matured, Laura enrolled her in riding lessons, fostering a deeper connection between the girl and the horses. Laura and her partner aspired to accumulate enough resources to eventually provide their daughter with a horse of her own when she reached the appropriate age. They recognized Hannah's affection for these creatures matched her mother's, embodying the sentiment "like mother, like daughter." What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments section. Thank you.